Hey, word. Let me put my armor on. I love my bracelets and my rings and all of that kind of stuff. I'm actually working on a photograph, doing some artwork. Let me just put this aside. And also, I've been taking some time out to reflect. I've been posting a little bit of my artwork. I don't have a genre because my life has always been a series of exploration, okay? Exploration into what's going on with me, what's going on with the people I love, but also a reflection of what spirit means to me. This is a gift from my mother, and it was very magical too, because I had a beautiful store and gallery in New York, and I closed it, and I was told by spirit that I needed to close it because there was something coming. And I trusted that, and my husband said to me at the time, we were married at the time, he said to me, why are you closing it before Christmas? I said, I don't have an answer yet, but I do know that I need to, and it's time, and I'm going to listen to that. And he just thought I was delulu. But my mother had a massive stroke, and it was right before my birthday. And she was unable to speak, and she was unable to walk for 15 years prior to her making her transition. It was very sad for all of us because she was the piece that held the love. She was the person who held the love, and a very special human. And people were like, oh, she's flaky, she's this, she's woo, she's this and that. Well, they say that about me too. And if I carry any part of my mother, then I'm very proud of that. She was a special person. She was a forgiving person. She was a holy person and a funny person. And she loved all of us. But I knew that she was trying to tell me something. And she said, please. She could say certain words after a few weeks passed, and my birthday had passed, and I was sad because she couldn't speak to me. And she was really, in the beginning, we didn't know if she was going to make it or not. But when she started to try and tell me something, I had to communicate with her telepathically, basically, or look at her eyes, or the way she moved the good hand that she still had access, could move. She was paralyzed on the left side and lost the speech because of that. This was what she was trying to tell me about. I said, you have something for me? Yes! She could say things like that, and she would say beautiful when I walked in the room to be with her, and things like that. She would have my picture, and she'd show everybody my picture, and my sister's picture, my brother's picture, and the grandchildren, and that was her whole life, So miracles happen even in our struggles. We just have to be aware of that. And I lost my son, and after losing my son, I was terrified because that was the hardest thing I've ever been through. And it still is, okay? But I find ways to distract myself, I guess, and I find ways to deal with the grief, and I am a teacher of healing, so I try and do the best that I can with that. So what I wanted to talk about today is the miracle of knowing, of telepathically communicating with the souls that have passed before us, and with my mother, who is still alive. She was very aware, but she was trapped in a body that didn't function the way it used to. So I learned through that, but I also learned in my son's passing, and this is going to be out there for some people, that we are just light bodies, okay? Once we are out of this, they call it a meat suit, we are light bodies. We are electrified. We are stars. You know, we come from the stars. We go back to the stars. But my son actually showed me where he was. And it was a night sky with blue sparkly energy. And he was a light body with all this beautiful, it was very sparkly. And we didn't have to speak. And he showed me that it is complete love and bliss. And if I'm Delulu, I want to stay in that memory, because I truly believe that we are way beyond what we are taught. I have a story about the farmhouse. Now, I posted a picture of it, but that's where I started my healing center, the Center for Art and Healing. And I also, you know, it was in a different state. But I also had an experience with a client that came to me, and when she pulled up into this space, she said, I am blown away. Because I looked at her when she was at the door, and I was like, oh, and I saw her nephew, but I didn't say anything, okay? Her nephew was speaking to me. So we did a healing session, and what her nephew came through in ways that were very strange. Like, I saw the giraffe running in Africa. I saw the zebras. I saw the trees, the African trees. I saw the terrain. I saw it all. And I could almost sense it. I don't know if you've been to Disney and gone on the, I just did that a few years ago. It was way before they did this. Soar, it's called Soar. I could even smell the earth, okay? And it was like that, the vision that I had. And I asked her when she was done, what's with Africa? What's with the giraffe? What is with this? I'm allowed to tell this story, by the way. She told me years ago I could tell it. It happened quite a few years ago. I said, there's giraffes running. And she said, that's my nephew. And she said, I got to tell you something. He collected giraffes, and at his funeral, there was a giant stuffed animal. There was pictures of giraffes. He always loved that in Africa. And yes, she did want to go to Africa. But she also told me that she had a dream a few nights prior to that he sat her on a bench, and he told her to go into that house. I'm getting choked up right now because the lights were on in the house, and she needed to go there, and she needed to heal. That was my house. That was my healing center. I had a bench. There was a bench out by the road. Okay, it was a big long driveway, but there was a bench out by the road, and that was the dream that she had. So there are miracles in life. And don't get caught up in other people's business, because it isn't your business. And don't worry about what other people are saying about you, because it's none of your business what other people think about you. They call me a woo-woo queen here where I live, and I don't care, because I believe that we are so vast and so beyond what we were taught. So I'm going to pause this and pull a few, maybe two, 3 cards for you. Okay, we only have time for one card, but what healing looks like. And it says healing looks like a card about personal signs about healing, about the moment when we feel a little more whole. What does healing look like for me? What are the signs that show I am recovering, and what helps me to heal? It's all about healing, babes. Trust the process. Heal.